Say the words.
Say the words. Welcome back to a new episode of the No Rep Podcast, episode number 62.
Here we go.
I'm with the usual daubers, Nathaniel and Evan Middleton here, but we have a special guest.
Full name?
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
just Sunday name, Mr. David Hatt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Very welcome.
From social media, I feel like you're a very busy man.
Yeah.
So we tried to get this in like a wee while ago, and then you fucked off to Dubai for a bit.
Yeah.
And then now I've caught you now. So
I'm
thanks
back.
for coming.
In my head, I forgot that your name was actually David, and it was just Dhatt.
Dhatt. Some people think it's Matt as well. See, amount of people are like, "Oh, hi, Matt," and I'm like,
Really?
"What?"
Who the fuck is Matt?
So people have
Dhatt.
not paid attention at all, have they? Or just
Exactly.
Can't say it's
Dhatt does it though. I'm happy with
There we
Dhatt.
go. I know, but right before there, we were wasting up some valuable conversation that was off there, but we were just talking about going bald, and Danny got quite touchy about the subject.
me and Jordan have got a bet on he'll go first.
There's no way.
You will.
Bro, there's no way.
I'm not taking sides, but I
I
want
need to see them both.
Tell me.
I mean, I need a trim. This is bad here.
I actually
He's having to grow his
I reckon
height.
you'll go bald at the back. I
Bro, are you
reckon.
fucking mad?
Nah, no chance at the back. That's
Keep
the thing.
giving him a complex.
Nah,
Just
it's
keep saying it.
This
He's
is the
giving me
thing.
one, I'm giving him one.
Well, no, but this is the thing, right? And this is what we'll tuck into. If it did begin to happen, I would just
Aye.
just
Yeah.
go straight off it, and I respect that.
I always said that. I was like 2 years of clinging on, and
Really?
I always said if it starts to go, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get shave it, because there is nothing worse when you see someone and it's like back there, and you're just like, come on, just get rid.
No.
But then some people don't give a fuck. Some people are
Some
quite
people
literally
don't.
like, I don't care. I did.
I've used the argument though, and it's like you've never met a bald person that doesn't suit being bald. I think. Like, see if you walk past somebody in the street that you don't know them,
I think you settle into it, don't you? I went really short initially, and then I was like, just go for it.
get it straight off. Like my mate, like my best mate Andy's 24, 23,
I
24.
thought you were going to talk about another bald man there. but
Nah.
Alex.
Oh, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, he was a bit older, but
Yeah.
Andy's young, like 24, whatever. Just like fuck it, straight off
Straight
it,
off.
man. And I'm like, I respect that.
Do you know what I thought was absolutely
So-
fucking mental is that Scott Brown like selectively went bald for his whole football career, and then
But
as soon,
can't
but then as soon as he stopped playing, he just grew his hair back.
Can he grow hair? I did not know that.
I don't know either.
Brilliant head of hair.
Really?
Absolutely.
Scott Brown?
Scott Brown,
Fucking hell.
ex-Celtic captain, absolute brilliant head of hair.
There we go.
Mad.
We're learning things, man.
I actually never knew that. But anyway, aside from that, thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much.
Obviously,
Cheers,
you've done this in your first rodeo with podcasts. I didn't want to spend too much on the origin story
Nah.
of who you are. We can tuck into a wee bit because probably more people know who you are than who we are anyway.
Not listening to your podcast, I would presume not.
Maybe,
Yeah.
who knows?
You'd hope no.
Maybe I'm
right?
bringing a new audience.
No, I actually thought it was mostly like CrossFit wankers that listen to this podcast.
Just
and I was
one.
like, nah, it's just one.
one.
And it's me when I listen back to it.
On repeat.
Yeah.
Get the views up.
Getting the good bits. I just let it run. Just let it run in the background. But we can tuck into a wee bit. So I guess that what I'd maybe ask you first is that what was your intro to the fitness game? Because I take it this wasn't your first job.
It was one of my first jobs.
Was
To be
it?
fair. I've been doing this since I was 19, so quite literally this is my 10th year coaching. And all I'd done before that was make hot dogs in Ikea, and then
that.
Class.
progressed to flat pack in Ikea, and then progressed to being a fitness wanker. So I've been doing fitness for like a long time. I got into it to gain weight initially for sport, and then preferred just training to the actual sport, and then continued training.
Was it
and then-
gymnastics?
No, actually, everyone thinks I used to do gymnastics. So
Because you're quite
Do you
good
know,
at it.
got a good toe point on me. No, I done sport karate for like 15 years or something like that. So I done that for years, and then
Class.
gave that up when I was 21. So yeah, that's my intro to fitness. To be fair, there was
Yeah.
there's not even the whole, I really wanted to help people. I quite literally just hated working at Ikea. People used to ask me how to
Hot
get a
dogs were
six-pack, and I
shit.
was like, I can make some money here. So yeah, started in exercise for less, budget gym for 4 years, moved to Dubai for a year, come back 2019 I come back, and then started MTN in 2019, 4 years ago. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's my full life.
Sick. And it seems that, that's it. Done.
That's it.
Right,
Podcast.
thanks for coming, mate.
Go for a haircut.
Tune in next week.
I know. No, but one of the things that I find quite cool about you and about MTN is that I feel that since I've maybe followed you on social media, which maybe been the past couple of years, I feel like every year has got exponentially bigger. And that's probably been the case maybe for maybe your whole career over the past 10 years. It might not maybe seen that because you're in it, but I feel like every year that, I remember the first 12-week peak that you did, which you get into, I had a couple of my pals do it. Boy I used to play rugby with did it as well, actually. And then every year it's just obviously fucking growing and growing and growing. It seems to continue that way. That's not on accident, I don't think.
No, I think like since like I think I've always, because I've done sport when I was younger, there's always been that level of like you achieve something, like what's next, and I'm quite bad for that. I think sometimes it's not a curse, but like sometimes you don't really appreciate things, but I'm always like what's a little bit better than the previous year. And sometimes it's easy for something like the 12-week peak or numbers, because it's just like, well, year one was 100, 200, 300. It's quite easy to, it's a metric you can monitor, but outside of just that, I'm like, what other sort of growth can I have? Like year on year, personal growth, cool, financial growth, great. So I think for me, it's always just like experience some level of growth. In some years it's not maybe been business, though. Some years it's been other areas of my life, and vice versa. Most of the time it's business, so that's the thing. Like I'm the most passionate about. But yeah, I think just progress is like, I think it's a Tony Robbins quote, progress is happiness, and I've said that in this podcast from about 17 times. But that's actually like what makes me like happy and fulfilled, is just a little bit of progress every year. I say a little bit, I'd like a lot. But.
See with like, obviously you said you started MTN, right? Did you in your head at the time think that it would kind of grow to what it is just now, or was it literally a one-man band like when you started, just like everyone else? Well,
when I was living in Dubai, it was just me, and then I think I had like 80 clients at some point. What I was doing with them, no idea, because it would have been awful, but I had a ton of people and I had a ton of interest coming through, and then I was speaking to 2 coaches back home at the time, Dale and Ryan, and then they came on board, and then to be honest, they came on board to help me manage clients. I never ever intended to like run a business. Even it wasn't until I started maybe a year into running MTN, so only like 3 years ago I felt like I had a business. Before that it was just like I was an online coach, or I was a fitness like person. But it's probably just in the last 3 years I feel like, right, I've got a business now, because I can grow it in multiple ways, and there's lots of different products and services that we can do. But yeah, before that it was just like I was just an online coach, and I think there's a big difference between just online coaching and like running a business. That's not to say that you need to have staff. I don't think you need to have staff to have a business. I know plenty of one-man bands that have a business, but for me, I felt when I hired more people, I felt like more of a business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you just feel like you've got more going on in that sense. So yeah.
See, talking about like staff, it seems that you've had quite a big buy-in, and like really loyal coaches like Ryan and Dale and Helen and all the rest of it. What would you say, like any business when it's on, and anybody that's maybe thinking about owning a gym, what would you kind of say to them if you're like, if you want staff, this is how to get a buy-in? Because I feel like business owners, gym owners struggle with that, right? And people business, they struggle to get buy-in for.
Yeah, well, one of my clients, I actually won't say him, but he's trying to recruit for staff at the minute.
That's
and
right.
he says it's one of the biggest hurdles that he's struggling with now.
It's by far the hardest thing about running a business, to be fair. It's the thing that gives you the most leverage, because you've got more people to do some of the stuff that you maybe don't want to do. That's a little bit different for me, because they're technically all subcontracted coaches, so they're not like, they're not employed by me. So everyone within the brand's technically subcontracted, so it's a little bit easier because they've got more freedom. So my biggest pull is the fact that they still all manage their own businesses. They still all manage their own income largely. But equally, you said, like, I've had a lot of loyal coaches and people stay. Like, there's been people come and go as well. I just don't post about them. But no, there has been people. I think we've had maybe 12 coaches across the last 4 years, and there's currently 10 with the 2 new girls that we've just started. So there's been people kind of drift in and out the brand as well, and that's kind of what I've said. Like, even Ryan and Dale, who are my best mates as well, own Sin, I've said to them, like, look, you don't need to stay forever. Like, of course they've got that loyalty. I helped them build their business to where it is, but there might come a point where they're like, I just want to have Sin. I just want to have my own business. And that's fine. And that's, if you'd said that to me 3 years ago, I'd have been like, no, they're mine. Like, keep them. Now I'm like, if people don't want to work within the brand, please leave, like, straight away. Like, that's kind of what I want it to be like. And I don't want to hold anyone here that maybe wouldn't want to be here. Equally, I think people stay because there's so many opportunities. I think we get more opportunities because it's a business than just Joe Blogs PT. It's a bigger company, bigger brands recognise us, bigger companies and whatever else wants to maybe work with us. So there's a lot of pull and there's a lot of opportunities. Even something like the 12-week peak photo shoot, like, you couldn't really be involved with that if you're yourself. Like, you could maybe manage 30, 40 people max, but you do need a team of people to do some of the things that we're doing, and even some of the future projects. Like, you can't do that yourself. So I think to be involved in that, like Alex, for example, he loves being involved in that, but he knows himself that's not where he wouldn't maybe want to, like, set up projects and manage all that side of stuff. I love it. He loves coaching. He loves that side of stuff. I love, like, project management, to be honest, now more than anything.
I find that about you, and it actually surprises me a little bit that fitness was essentially your first job, right? Because I don't imagine you were having team meetings and talking about standard operating procedures in Ikea, perhaps.
Right.
I don't know.
To be fair,
So the sausage get the hot dog gets in the bun, that gets in the bun.
you put the mustard
Mustard first. So I don't imagine that was particularly your life beforehand, whereas I've worked in like corporate world before coming into fitness, and so I had exposure to all that, whereas you kind of looks like it knows what you're talking about when it comes to that sort of stuff, and obviously it is coming to light with how successful your business is. How did you even go about fucking figuring that out?
Well, this is again, like, how long have you all been coaching?
Like 6
10 years.
He's been doing it forever.
I've been doing
About
it
35 years.
35 years. He's been about 30 years.
They're like granddads. I'm relatively
actually
new.
10 years and about 2 weeks qualified, but in the industry, 4 year more than that, 14 year.
I think it's like a big part of it's time served. Like, I think a big part of success is time served, and then another part is like really fucking wanting something. And I've had very good influences growing up. Like, I have no, and this is something that actually used to hold me back. So I was like, I've got no sob story. Like, I've got nothing to fucking cry about. Like, I've had a fucking really easy life, if I'm being honest. Maybe something bad will happen. Maybe I'll walk out and something bad will happen. But like, I've had a relatively easy life, and you always see these inspirational people that have came from here, and you know, like Drake. But no, Drake. I think so. I've not got that. I've just had good influences.
Did you feel like that you needed that? Is that what you fit in your earlier days?
I think all the people that I followed that inspired me had like a rough upbringing, and that was their motivation. I didn't really have that, so I was like, what the fuck's my motivation? I was like, I just want to be better than what I had. Like, I had a really good childhood, good coaches when I was doing sport, and I think some of the best influences I had were clients when I first started coaching. Like I'm saying, I've been doing this 10 years, so if I have 10 years worth of pretty good clients that were also business owners that also kind of taught me things. Like, some of the people I've met through coaching are like multi-millionaires. So like, sometimes it's just little bits of insight from them rubbing off on you 100%. Equally, like, I read a lot, I watch a lot, I learn a lot, so it's not like I've winged it. Like, I've put in a lot of the kind of groundwork in that sense. But I think a big part's like time served, a big part's education. Like, you do need to just put the reps in and be shit for a while as well. Get some no reps, you know.
Yeah.
He had that loaded before he even got it.
He's been waiting off the top. I know he mentioned Drake and then dropped like a wee bar there as well. He's going to freestyle next or something like that.
That's not me.
Talents are endless.
Sorry.
Oh, fucking hell.
That was good. I like
And
that.
MTN are doing MTN's Christmas night, it's karaoke this year.
That joke's so
Anyway.
that's Alex and Ryan's thing. They love karaoke.
Fucking hell. Aye, so what was some of the forms of like maybe early inspiration that you had business wise? Because if you couldn't look internally and be like, oh well, I need to get out of this fucking shit situation, who was that like back in the day?
Back in the day, like, do you know Chris Guzman?
Yeah, I used to watch his YouTube. Yeah.
Love CG,
Him largely from like an age standpoint, because I think he's like a year older. Like, one of my big things is always like, how's that guy there at
that age?
21?
Alpha
like, what the
land,
fuck?
alpha
like,
league.
I hate that. Like, that annoys me, and it's terrible that annoys me. Like, also, like, it is inspiring, and it, you know, it doesn't demotivate me. But for him, he was like a very similar age and was like 5 years ahead of me at the age of 21 type thing. So I was like, fucking hell. Like, I'd say some of the things that we're doing now are what he done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, man. So like, he was definitely an inspiration from somebody like further afield, because like social media was big back then, but it wasn't like,
it was more
like,
YouTube though,
wasn't like
it?
what it is now. Yeah,
YouTube,
so that's like, I used to just watch like 30-minute videos of him every day. He's the one that like stands out right now, actually. Local influences, I wouldn't have said there was like any, because even social media 10 years ago, there wasn't that many fitness people posting shit on Facebook. Like, Facebook was massive.
It's a different beast now. It's a completely different beast.
And people start, so like, people back in the day would be a personal trainer or a coach and then be like, oh, I might try social media. Now it's people that are going, oh, I'm good on social media, I'll try and be a coach.
It's literally
So it's quite literally went the opposite way.
True.
Great point.
Which is why there's such a bad like standard and quality of coaches, because it's people coming solely from,
100%.
I posted some nice fitness shit on Instagram. It's like, yeah, but you don't have a fucking quality coach.
Me and Ev just talked to us last night on night before, like literally just talked about the exact
I know,
same
it's a
stuff.
fucking popularity contest.
contest.
Yeah.
So
Defos.
with that, right, with that being said, like obviously time served was one of the things that you feel has helped you in your growth and stuff like that. And then we see a lot of these new coaches coming in the industry and stuff like that, and we can be old men and be grumpy about it. Oh, these fucking people are just popping on TikTok or whatever. But like, how do you think, what is the path to someone new in the industry? Like, what does that look like in order for them to mirror your success or mirror someone's success that's doing well? Like, what is that sort of path? Is there a blueprint or?
I come work with MTN. To be fair, like the two new girls that we've just hired are super inexperienced as coaches, like really inexperienced as coaches, and I didn't hire them for coaching experience. I hired them largely for the softer skills like communication, which I think is largely the number one thing that coaches need. And this is why some of the younger people like won't make good coaches. They'll make good TikTokers, but like they don't know how to communicate with people. And I think that's the biggest driver, because I think everything else you can learn. Communication is quite a hard thing to learn in comparison to setting up a training plan, setting up macros. Like that's fucking easy. Like it's quite literally, there is a bit of a blueprint, like you said. But from a coaching perspective nowadays, like I would actually just do the shitty 6-week course and get that bit of paper. It's exactly what I done. Like, it's exactly what I done. Get it done, get qualified, and then start in a budget gym. Like start working from a, what is it now, JD Pure Gym. Like start working in one of them, do a year or 2 or 3 years maybe. You learn, and do you know what the biggest thing you learn from that? You're just exposed to so many people. Like I used to do, 8 inductions a day, a spin class with 30 people, and then I'd maybe take 2 or 3 like free clients. So it's like that's a huge amount of people that to learn what not to do,
to make mistakes with.
So that's like the first thing. And then as a coach wanting to break into the industry, be coached off someone else. And again, that is not to plug any of us, but get coached off somebody that's been doing it 5, 10, 15 years and just learn a little bit from them. Find like do your homework on that. Obviously, you don't want to sign up with someone that you're not going to learn a huge amount from. But that would largely be what I say. Like the college course and the 6-week course largely give you the same bit of paper. They give you a level 2 and a level 3. One of them takes a lot longer and you get less experience with clients. So I was like, pick the one that you get more experience with, like being in front of people. Hire a coach yourself, and then further education. Like pay for courses, and if you don't want to pay for course, like I've not paid for that much education really. A lot of the stuff that I've done is through YouTube, if I'm being completely honest, like the basic stuff, and then you maybe find someone that you want to learn more from,
and like books or whatever else that
books.
I noticed that I mean a wee deep dive, try and find out a little more about this.
Balls deep.
Fucking scrolling. So if you got a notification like that photo from like 400 weeks ago, that was me.
2017.
But obviously I think, did you not invest in some form of education like quite early on? Like I seen you went out to, was it San Diego, or you went out to America and stuff like that? Was that just like a holiday trip, or was that like you were out actually learning some
you
stuff?
Did go balls deep. Well, that was actually just what I didn't know what it was at the time. We basically went thinking it was some big amazing business conference, and in fairness, it was actually like super inspirational. But it was one of these things that it's a weekend course, and then in the last 2 hours of the course, they try and sell you a 20 grand mastermind. But like I didn't have a clue what it was at the time, so everyone in there was doing silly numbers. It was all big fitness businesses, nutrition business, meal prep companies, gyms, and I had just started with Dale and the other coach Ryan that was working with us at the time. So there's 3 of us. I don't know what we were making, but it wasn't very much money at the time, but we'd had enough to go and do this fucking course. So I've invested in some things like that, but that was interesting to see the fact that, do you know what, like that gave me more than anything like self-belief and like selling, making a lot of money, because the guy literally, it was a 20 grand mastermind. And there must have been like 50 people at the event, went straight up with a credit card and paid it there and then. And I was just like,
did I just open your eyes
people
to
are
like
willing to pay that for, like, do you know what I mean? Just to be part of a group. So that was super helpful and inspirational in that sense. Other than that, from a paid education standpoint, I've done a Mark Cole's mentorship. It was all right. And I worked with another coach that was just not all right, but that was like 16 grand. That was the biggest waste of money of my entire life.
Just throw them under the bus.
Quite like nah.
This is a podcast for fine people.
We are the bus podcast.
This will get clipped up. So that was a complete waste of money. But I spoke about that in a podcast recently. Like I've wasted hours of fucking money on like business stuff, like just random shit,
stuff that you think you'll get a return on your investment. It just doesn't happen.
100%.
Me, that's me.
Yeah,
that's me in a nutshell.
And also me. Remember last year, 4G.
Oh yeah, fuck!
Biggest waste of $4 grand of my life.
Shut them under the bus, man.
Nah.
Shite by the time they come to it. But I think that So obviously when you would have done that, I think we're hyper aware of that sort of stuff now.
Yeah.
Like you see it all the time and it's all everywhere. I think maybe back then, maybe in America it might have been a bit different, but maybe back then it would have like, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So you would have been pure shocked kind of thing by it.
And they're ahead as well, usually Americans,
Yeah.
right? They're always a good 5 to
From a
10
marketing
years.
perspective,
Like,
the way that they...
Aye.
so you must have been like, what the fuck
Well,
is this?
one of the kind of takeaways from that was like, if you're not talking on your phone, like doing stories, like you're gonna fall behind. And like none of us were doing it. And this was quite literally 4 years ago, not that long ago. So it really wasn't a long time ago at all. None of us were doing that. And I remember the worst fucking thing ever. The guy's like, everyone get up. Like, it was pure like motivational. It was like one of these, it was like literally one of those cheesy American, like rah rah, clap your hands.
Tony Robbins type
Like,
deals.
really similar to that. And it's the same network of people as that. And he's like, everyone get out your Instagram stories, go on live. So I'm like, fucking hell.
Oh, no.
Make this live. He's like, say this. And I'm like,
I love business.
Went to the toilet, delete. But I like it was good. It opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I think like all these things I'm saying I wasted money. I didn't necessarily I wasted money, but you learn to not fucking do it again. You learn to do your due diligence. You learn to kind of like put in the background work before you buy into things, or you should learn, because I've done it again since. But no,
you definitely you can see can see who's fucking full of foolery, and who's no. I think after you've made the mistake, unfortunately.
See, like, for us, I think so, yes. But see, for kind of Joe Blogs public, see if they're going to go for a coach, I think it's really difficult to
100%.
tell who's like a decent coach and who's a fucking charlatan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you don't know what
If you don't know the
what
role.
you're looking for, and that was the same with me from a business mentorship. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm looking for. This guy looks like a millionaire. That'll do.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you as well. So see, obviously you've been doing MTN for 4 years now and stuff. How have you guys as a company handled the changes in social media? Do you just chat about like, because back in the day you used to be able to just post like a transformation, and you'd get 100 likes, you get 50 leads.
Yeah,
it's not quite the same anymore.
Yeah. Well, even like a good example, like I reposted a result recently, but it's our best result ever, Daniel Douglas. By a long shot. And that was like 2,500 likes that got my first post that I posted the other day. And don't get me wrong, people have seen it and they're exposed to it. It was like 87 likes. So like there's a big change in just overall engagement and things like that. I'm probably the worst person to speak to about that, because as much as we've got an okay following, it's definitely not the area that we excel in. It's not where we make sales. It's not where we do the most business. Like email marketing is where we excel. And I have someone doing a lot of that for me. So the changes, like, it's frustrating. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. And I think probably most of last year, I was like, this is just shite. Like, this is annoying.
I say that every day.
And now I'm just, now I'm like, do you know what? Like, just do better. Like, you just need to be better. Like, my content was boring as fuck. That's why, like, that was largely why it wasn't getting engagement. And that was largely why, because I see other people and I'm like, oh, that guy's a dick. But it's like, well, he's got all these fucking singing and dancing things, and it's like, it's entertaining. It draws you in. So sometimes you do need to pivot with it. You do need to change. And there's a case of like, be yourself. But sometimes you maybe need to change a little bit yourself to get clicks, likes, engagement, to then draw them in, to then sell them what they actually need, if you know what I mean.
Like drinking
Be
bathwater.
yourself in the back end.
Yeah, give them what they want, sell them what they need.
Hey,
So,
Danny.
That's good.
Like drinking bathwater. Did you see that?
the Saltburn.
Yeah, he literally did that. He reenacted Saltburn.
Right?
Bathwater, just so you know, bathwater tastes better than tap water. Is that right?
It's salty.
I've actually not even seen all that film yet. I was a bit an hour in. I've not seen that bit, so
I've
I'm just
not.
learning about it.
Dad, you can watch that.
Just go to my
Go on
Instagram,
Danny's
mate.
Instagram, you'll be able to see it.
Interesting.
No, I never actually watched it. I watched 5 minutes of it and I was like, this is shit, and I turned it off.
I liked it.
I was an hour in and it was alright. I just fell asleep, but
It just gets me
alright.
a bit fucked up.
Does it?
Aye.
fast. Got a good hour to go there.
But no, it's interesting to see, and obviously you've spoken about that a lot.
But the changes in the
The
industry.
change
and stuff,
in the industry, the change in social media, and it's like, do you feel that that's necessary to stay on top of, or do you feel that things like the results you get and word of mouth in general, and just generally just delivering a good service, do you think that that's even just more than enough to have a successful business, or do you feel like social media is almost a requirement to like stay on top of these trends, for example?
See, like until quite recently, I would have said just, be the best coach, get the best results, and you'll be busy. And I think there's still an element of that. I know plenty of people with no social media that are full, not for online coaching, but one-to-one coaching certainly. Like word of mouth's a big thing. If you do a good job, you get good referrals and whatever else. Nowadays, to grow online, you need to be on top of social media, and like we're not. Like we've not grown. My personal Instagram's not grown in about 18 months, 2 years. It's literally been at 12 I hit 13k and it's been back to 12.9. Cunts who ever unfollow. but it's not growing. Like for a while I was like, it's just because the algorithm, and I was like, nah, it's because I post shite. Like I don't post stuff that's super engaging. I repost results that we've got, and I post a little bit about my own training. It's like mine isn't that interesting, and I was like, that's a big change that I've started to make from the start of this year, just having a little bit more structure. And even since that, it's starting to tick up again, and it's just been that little bit more structured. It's necessary to have an online business, in my opinion, to be out there and to be growing on social media. But the number one thing should be like good coach, good results, good service. Like that's number one. And if you filter in some good social media with that, like it's only just going to snowball and grow, in my opinion. No, interesting. But on the kind of documenting your training side of things, you've been doing a wee bit more performance style stuff. It's not something that's new to you. Obviously you can swing about from bars and stuff like that. I've seen that. Where did you learn how to do that actually? I actually don't know. You
just figured it out?
Because he's a ninja.
I had monkey bars in my back door. My granddad built like an actual play park thing in my back door when I was younger. So me and my brothers, you know the gladiator where you both hang on and try and tear each other down. We used to do that.
Because this is the thing. I think that some people have are generally, like, you obviously grew up doing karate and stuff like that. So like people who do things like martial arts or sports like rugby, maybe even not even necessarily football, but like they tend to be a little bit more athletic in their older years. Whereas if you get somebody that's maybe just played football and then went to the gym, you ask them to do that, they can't figure out what to do with their body, if that makes sense. But you've leaned into a little bit more of a performance style in the more recent sort of training phase. What kind of spurred that a wee bit?
One of them's a secret that I can't announce in this podcast.
What, you doing hang-ups?
Secret project. No, I think I was actually just bored. Like the coach that I'm working with right now, he was like, so what's your goals? I was like, I just want to enjoy my training. I was like, I want to do different stuff. Like I used to be super springy, super athletic. I used to be able to do random shit that other people couldn't do. High box jump, like just random shit. I was like, that's where I actually enjoy my training the most. See when I'm doing like plyometrics and I'm doing like muscle ups and I'm doing stuff like that, I actually just enjoy that the most. I think that's part of it. The other part is like I care a little bit less about aesthetics. Like I'm pretty settled with Kirsty. She likes my physique as it is. I don't feel the need to get lean every year to go on holiday to try and get with women, you know. Here we go. So like I think there's an element of that, and that's not to say like I don't take care of my physique now that I've got Kirsty and I'm comfortable, but there's an element of like I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a maturity thing. Like I think as you get older, you become a little bit less vain and you care a little bit less about your physique. Like I have anyway. So I think that's part of it. Part of it was to enjoy training again. Part of it was 100% just influenced by seeing everyone else delve into that and being like, fuck, I don't want to be that guy. I want some of that one-dimensional.
Yeah, especially where you train as well. It's like that's now the predominant swing of how people train in there, isn't it? It's not like the bodybuilders anymore.
So no, like I've been doing like I've done 12 weeks worth of running, and now I'm just not running again. I just fucking hate it. It's shite. It's so shite. I don't get the running buzz.
Some people don't like it.
Well, most people that I speak to that do it for 12 weeks are like, oh, you learned to love it. I was like, nah, I didn't. I'm gonna keep it in. Like I'm gonna keep 1 or 2 runs in, and I'm gonna like as a social thing more than anything, because people close to me are running. I'm like, I can catch up with them. Like Ryan, we done a 10k last week, and I actually loved it because it was kind of tied with something else that I like doing, which was like speaking to Ryan, catching up. But I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I run to fund my pastry, my coffee habit, basically. So that's fair. That's literally the only reason why I run.
That's fair. I think like for me right now, like I've been training 10 years. I've done most forms of fitness at some point. Like I've done a little bit of CrossFit for a short period, a little bit of running, a little bit of powerlifting, a little bit of this. I think it's just find what works for you at certain times, and I think that's a big thing. I think certain types of fitness are good for certain periods of your life. Like I think a lot of people that have maybe just had kids, like running's amazing. It's so time efficient. You literally put the shoes on and go out a run, but it's like, well, the gym's half an hour traffic each side, getting there, getting ready, getting your workout in, waiting on machines, getting home. I think running can be a great form of fitness for those people for that time frame, and then they might go, actually I've got loads of time now, I'm going to start like doing something else. I think that's like quite important. Like we've had a bit of like banter about like, you know, what's better, this or that, and it's like, well, what's better is like, what do you enjoy doing and what's good for your life at that moment. For me right now, I've got loads of time to train, so I can do 1.5 hour, 2 hour sessions and fuck about, and like my warm-ups are like half an hour, not warm-ups, but like, you know, priming the body and whatever else. In the past I was like, right, good to go.
You get the 20s out, do a couple of reps, and then it's like straight in.
Up the road. And I suppose that's a drawback of CrossFit, in my opinion. Like the amount of, maybe not all CrossFit, but certainly some CrossFit programming that I see, and I'm like, why is your warm up quite literally longer than your session? Like that shouldn't be the case. If you need to warm up for that long, like you're not okay, in my opinion. Like you should, that shouldn't be the case. Yeah,
I agree with that. No, I definitely agree with that. But we have had some back and forwards, like, and this is the thing. That's what I found funny is I told a couple of people I was getting you on the podcast and that. I was like, what, do you like each other? And I was like, aye. Like, a couple of people that I spoke to thought that we didn't like each other, and I'm like, so no, funny. What the fuck? Like,
people assume that when you've got different training styles or whatever else.
Exactly.
People can't get their heads around how like fucking people align.
The fitness industry is so like petty like that though.
It's cliquey and petty, and
I don't really add to that by fucking the odd Instagram story, but mostly that's just about engagement.
It's engagement.
You need to be polarising. You need to be polarising.
It's poking a wee bit of fun. And I think that one of the things that sparked that off was I made a post being like, photo shoots are shite, blah blah blah, and I went on like a wee rant or whatever.
I remember this actually.
And then I woke up the next morning, and then I had like
400 DMs.
400 new followers, and I'm like, David shared my shit, and I'm like, what the fuck's happening
here? Did you
here?
get a lot of new followers for that?
I actually did that.
Bastard, I wish I didn't do that.
All the ones you lost, I got.
All the CrossFitters. Carly.
Yeah. Shout out Carly. She doesn't even listen to this, but so.
Boo.
Did you just say boo?
No, I said boo.
That's fucking hell, man.
No, I like Carly.
Why is that coffee?
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so obviously people thought that we had like this major disagreement, and we spoke a bunch, and it's like a lot of the things that we were talking about we actually mutually agree with. Like there was many things. It's like fundamentally one of the things was like whatever anybody's doing in any regard of any fitness, like you respect. Like if somebody wants to hike and that's their fitness, like cool, like that's class. Like if someone wants to train and do photo shoots like for Twitter, like good. They're extremely difficult to do. I'll put my hands up and say I've never done one because I actually think that that's harder than what I do for me.
Also just doesn't interest you, and I think that's a big thing. Like so the photo shoot kind of side of the 12-week peak was quite literally because me, Dale and Chantel, who used to work for us, wanted to get lean to get photos done because it is decent for business. Like they can be really good things for business. And then we're like, why don't we just get other people to do it with us? And that's what the 12-week peak was. We were like, why don't we kind of market it? And there wasn't a big plan to make it what it is now.
Right.
So that's why we started doing it. It was quite literally for us. And then we were like, we're going to do a photo shoot. Like if anyone wants to do it. And initially it was just coaches. There was like, I think the first 12-week peak it was like 60 coaches, 40 normal people. And now it's the total opposite way. But it's not like we don't push the photo shoot. The photo shoot's completely optional. Like 200 people done it last year out of 350. I'd say 10 to 15 of them I was like, I think you should do it. And that was pushing my agenda. Like, you're fucking shredded. Can you do this?
Yes, does that look good?
For the most part, people just wanted to do it as like a challenge. And that's kind of how I've started to view the 12-week peak. Like, a lot of people do a half marathon and they're like, tick, done it. Oh, I'm going to try a marathon, tick, done it. Tough Mudder, tick, done it. Like, people kind of have these fitness challenges, and that's kind of what we've made. The 12-week peak is just a watered down bodybuilding show at the end of the day. It's getting the everyday person lean without the total mentalness of bodybuilding.
Without the tiny pants.
Yeah, the tiny pants. That's this year. So yeah, I think like the biggest selling point is that it's just that end goal. It's that 12-week time frame, and that's why something like the Open works so well. It's like, well, I've got that thing to train for. Works really well in that regard.
Well, it's funny actually you say that was not the vision of 12-week peak, but it's anchored that way because the people have loved that. Like, that's what they want. They're like, well, I want to do that. Like, did you ever forecast for any of the things that have happened, whether that be like in business wise, or was the goal just from the get go? Like, obviously you mentioned this at the start, was like to just get better, or did you assume like, I want to get like 500 people in a room and we do a photo shoot? Was that the grand vision, or is that something that just came up?
Nah, like until last year when that number of people signed up, then I was like, right, I want 500 people to do the program. The photo shoot thing, if I'm being completely honest, the fact that we've done it with 200 people, that's by far the biggest fitness photo shoot in the UK. So I kind of feel like I don't mind if that doesn't get bigger. I'd be happy with less people, if I'm being honest, because it's fucking hectic and it costs us a lot. Like, that's a big expense. But for the 12-week peak, I'm chasing 500 people, and like I'm getting an incentive trip for all the coaches this year. Like, we're going somewhere in Europe if we get 500 people. So like everyone's pushing hard this year for that. So like that's a number, but it is an arbitrary number. Like if I get 480, I'll be fucking buzzing. If I get 520,
no trip. You fucking failed every day. Right?
499 picks.
To Skegness, let's go. So no, I think it's I think same with finances. I've got like big financial goals, but they are quite arbitrary in the sense of like it's just something more than what I've done to aim for. Because like from a financial standpoint, I'm like super comfortable with where I'm at. Like I could be there or thereabouts for the next few years and I'd be in a great position. But it's like, well, I don't really want, like I always want that little bit more. And sometimes it's probably greedy and fucking, maybe people will call me a Tory bastard, but it's sometimes just like that little bit of financial improvement every year. Like I think everyone should be aiming for that. It increases your quality of life like a lot.
Fucking loaf of bread's no cheap anymore either.
Fuck me, I know.
Nah, it's near parking tickets either. But no, well, I think it's weird that people can get touchy about like. So if you necessarily want to improve your physique, that's okay. If you want to say improve maybe your quality of life, excluding finances, that's okay. But when you want to improve the amount of money you make, that's boo-boo, that's bad. What you do? What do you mean? Why do you need more?
You're greedy cunt.
Why? Yeah, why is that deemed as greedy? But if you say want to have a day off work, like why is that not coined as greedy? Why is it just relate back to money? Do you know what I mean? I find that quite.
That's mad.
It's a bit more just taboo in the UK. Like people are less like like you said, America. Like they'll shout from the rooftops, like millionaire mindset and the millionaire club and all that shit. Do it in the UK, people are like, you're a fucking wank. And people hate it. People hate it. And there's that bitterness as well, especially in the west of Scotland. Like, people don't like seeing people with like a level of success.
It's because they're not doing the things that you're doing. Do you know what I mean? They want to do the things that you're doing, but they can't.
But I think it's changing.
Or they can, but they're not.
I think it's changing because, say for example, like you look back 4 years, nobody was talking on their phone. There was maybe a select few, like the James Smiths or whatever, the people that were already successful, right? So it was okay for them to talk on the phone. Whereas like now it's what most people do, right? Whereas back then, like you would have got laughed at or like, what's this guy talking on his phone and all that for? So you think that things like, say, setting financial targets, speaking openly about finances, speaking openly about like, well, I actually want to grow as an individual, as a person. Whereas right now that may be like, nah, like what are you talking about? Guy's pure fry. Why is he talking about all that sort of stuff? But then in the next 5 years, maybe everybody's going to be doing that.
Listen, man, I used to get fucking ripped for having my ears pierced and going to the gym and doing all that stuff. I've trained every person that used to rip the cunt with me to get them in shape. Do you know what I mean?
For your ears being pierced.
But then I thought they were getting their ears pierced and then I remember a conversation in Pure Gym 2018. I started online coaching back in 2018. If you remember, Evan, nobody was doing fucking online coaching then. It was like 1 or 2 Australians. Like, I was like the only country scene. And I had no fucking idea, man. I gave a program out in a PDF and touch base for them in 4 weeks' time. By the time I went to touch base in 4 weeks' time, I had no online clients. Okay. Like, are you sending me the next month? Like,
you up?
Literally. Like, no cunt was. But I remember having a conversation and I was quite money orientated. I'm money orientated now, but I was very like getting into that kind of focus at earning more every month and all that, earning more every year. And it was 2018. And I was having a conversation with 2 people and I cannot fucking remember who it was. But one of them was like, you're quite arrogant, aren't you? And I was like, what? Like, the way you're talking, you think like you've pure got it off figured out, this and that. And I was like, all right, man. Like, it was like an induction I was in, a person I knew that well. Pure, like, you're dead, like, you pure fucking full of yourself, aren't you, and all that? And I'm like, I'm just telling you my goals. Like, you asked me this and that, I was telling you. It was, and that was 2018, but so it just shows you, man, people are still fucking. There's no as bad now. I wouldn't say
I think it's easier now because you've got online forums, so you could kind of find a tribe of people that all have the same mindset. Quite literally nowadays, you could be like, I love country music, red wine, weight training, and I don't know, fucking something else, beer, let's say. You could find a community of like that exact thing nowadays and kind of like delve into it. Whereas back in the day, it's like you can't find that exact kind of person. So I think that's easier. You can surround yourself with more people more easily now, with online forums, communities, things like that. I would say, which is another selling point to like group coaching and things that you do. Like, I think having that community of people now is even more so after like lockdown. I think people crave that more than ever.
It's so clear, isn't it? Like,
and we've never had that with online coaching because it's online and it's hard. And even if I will create a group chat, it's like they just die a death. Whereas if you do something like the 12-week peak, we've got that 12-week solid time. You're all going to be pals. You're all going to meet the weekend. Don't get on it. Don't get mad with it. Like, just do fitness for 12 weeks. It works really well. And I think that's a big selling point. I think that's something most PTs should try and create, at least for a 12-week block throughout the year, if not year round. Like, if you've got a gym or you've got access to like people. That's where I see. That's probably where I'm jealous actually of Ryan and Dale, and you know, some of you guys that run in person stuff as well. Like, there's a level of like, it's so easy to create that community. Like you've got a such stronger relationship with your clients than I do with some of my online clients, and it's a really good way to be.
Would you never open an MTN gym?
Nah. I've got the best deal ever. Shout out Commando.
Plug.
I've got an office in there. I've got office space. We brought them a lot of coaches, brought them a lot of members. So we've got a really good like mutual partnership. But we can use that gym for events. I can open up. I can close it. Like Ross and Gary, the owners, are phenomenal with me. So I have no other than like the only other things would be like financial gain. I don't think they make loads and loads of money in comparison to just scaling an online business. The overheads are ridiculous for most gyms. The only other reason would be like for content, and I'm like, well, I can do that in Commando and Sin, and to be honest, most other gyms like you can kind of just do that now. So I wouldn't, but would I? I'd invest in someone's gym type thing, but I don't think I'd want to be the operator of a gym. I don't think.
Fair.
I don't think. Yours?
I would like it.
Aye. Thinking about it?
I am. Yeah, I am. We'll speak after class.
I know already.
Yeah, but I think that, because I was actually going to echo in on that, and I think creating a community, when I started, it was again the natural progression. Like you PT people in person, you get busy, let me do this online, that kind of progresses. One thing I struggled with, like when I began online coaching, was that community side of things.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you get a sniff of that online life, you're like, oh, I want more of that. Like I want to just like pap all my in-person people. And I've kind of grown to like realise that, and I was actually talking to you about this the other day, that I actually like being in person. Like I don't really enjoy too much like maybe doing online seminars or whatever else. Like I love being in the gym. It's just where I love to be. I found it quite difficult creating that community online. And I think that I've kind of navigated my way around it just now. There's some people that I still work with solely online, whether it be distance or whether it be it's just the way that the arrangements worked out or whatever. But what's one thing that you feel has helped, like especially, well, more specifically, obviously you coach people year round, it's not just the 12-week peak stuff. Like how do you navigate that, or how have you?
We don't badly. So like we've only got a solid community from March to June, which is the 12-week peak. We're changing that this year in the sense of we're inviting our like premium coaching clients to just get involved with the 12-week peak so that they've got that, and then we do plan on keeping a monthly meetup thereafter. But see, at the end of the day, like it's online coaching. Like we've got clients in Australia, Dubai, New Zealand, Saudi. Like if there's no community, there's no community. The group chats just don't generally work. I think they could. I think there just needs to be a ton of work from the coaches to create content, and then you need a lot of user generated content. You need to get people bought in that just you'll have had those people that just love to contribute, and it's largely because a lot of them don't have other things going on, but they become part. They're almost like a team member. The amount of kind of content they post. We don't do it well, if I'm being completely honest, and it's not like it's not one of our core values either. It's not like we say we've got this big online fitness community. We don't actually have an online community. And again, there's 10 coaches now, each with between 1 and 45 clients. So it's like, well, they've maybe got a community with those people. Heather does it quite well. Heather's got a group chat with all her girl clients. But then again, it's like different goals, different experience levels, different questions being asked. Sometimes hard. And I think with you doing mostly CrossFit coaching, you need more of an in-person element, I would have said. Because it's very hard to teach movements. It's easy to teach like a chest press machine. A video on True Coach. Fucking hard to teach a ring muscle up.
Watch this video.
People try it. So I think like for you, and having that hybrid model of like there's monthly meetups or there's drop-in sessions or there's this, I think it works phenomenally well.
So that was it last year. That's what I put in was monthly meetups. Last year's monthly meetups. Just because of that, I was like, I don't feel like I've got a community. Try to do it on fucking Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. And the way I look at it, it's like, even though our businesses are our thing for us, and we want them to kind of like buy into the kind of Facebook or the WhatsApp group, whatever, that isn't like our program isn't their life.
Some people don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. So they've got their thing.
It's like, mate, I just got a training plan, bro.
Calm down, do you know what I mean? It's hard for a coach to get that. I fucking used to lose my head off it.
I used to get quite butthurt, man.
I did like the fucking post. Why did they comment? I've asked a question.
Please just bowl with me.
They're sitting and work stressed out or not running back and forth. You better fuck off, man.
It is hard because it's trying to cater to the masses, and you've got some people that love it. Like you know yourself, you get that client.
Cheerleaders.
They love it.
To be fair, it's normally the same 5 people in the group chat that keep it active anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Their own group chat. Have at it.
No, well, that's actually funny you say that, because a lot of people out there, a lot of coaches out there, make it seem like it's the biggest thing that they've got is
So
this
many
community
people.
thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you can sit there quite candidly and be like that, well, look, we don't have that,
Yeah.
and then you almost probably feel that you maybe don't need it.
Yeah, I've had moments where I'm like, I think we need it. And we've had people saying, like, every time we do a feedback form, it's like, we'd love, some in-person stuff. And I've always been like, well, it's an online business. Like, it's quite literally online coaching. Like, if you wanted in-person stuff, like, go an in-person coach. Like, it's quite literally an online business. Nothing that we do is in-person other than the 12-week peak. But then now I'm like, well, the 12-week peak growth's been huge. It's like maybe the in-person element's what people want from us. But it's not what I want to do. Like 12-week peak for me, I could probably run 2 a year. I've thought about doing one in like another country, like doing a Dubai version from like November to January or something like that. But I'm like, see the like labour intensiveness of it. I'm like, 3 months is good for that, because it's probably 2.5, 3 months prep, and then you're a month after it. So it's quite literally 7 months. It's like it's an ongoing cycle.
You need a wee bit of time to like chill out a wee bit as well.
And that, like, my biggest thing when I started online coaching was the whole I want to be free. Like, that was my thing, and freedom is such a high value of mine. Like, I spend like usually 2 to 3 months outside the UK like every year. I've done that for the last 5 years. It wasn't until last year that I was like, I don't need to do that anymore. Like, I don't need. That's why we bought a house. I was like, I don't feel the need to be like, oh, I'm like in Dubai again. Like, I don't need that now. But that was why I started online coaching, so that I could do it from anywhere. And I have worked from like numerous different places. And I did do the so cliche, like, I'm working from my laptop in Crete. Like, I've done all that shit. I'm like, I probably just matured a bit, but like, I don't need to do that now, I wouldn't have said.
I always found that kind of stuff quite funny, because like I would portray like, oh yeah, like I'm on my holiday and I can just get my, but then two, it's like out of necessity, because if I didn't do it, fucking people didn't have shit to do. So it's like, it's not because I wanted to do it. I was like, no, actually, why I be on holiday?
Yeah, you'd be like bragging about being on holiday working, and then comes back home and probably be like, what?
Why
I don't want to work on holiday.
Put your fucking phone away, bro.
Because you always say, like, the big difference is that people don't see is like, you actually like your job. Like, you actually like most of what you do. Equally, there's times where I'm like, I don't want to speak to anyone. Like, your WhatsApps blow up.
You need
all
to
day
remove yourself.
How are you at that? Do you find it easy to like actually take time off, like fully blown phone down?
I feel like my brain just keeps going.
Yeah.
Brain just keeps going. Even if I'm sitting on the couch, I'm like,
I feel like you have quite good boundaries that you set with like lots of stuff.
Aye, yeah. I'm for the most part pretty good at it. I think it's because I've got loads of hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, no, this is the thing that I'm doing. So I'll go to the football, I'll go play rugby, I'll do whatever else I'm doing. But like, even when we went to Morocco, like, I was working. And then I got Amanda pregnant. I was like, yeah. 2 seconds and I'm doing my check-in. Like, put a baby in you. But like, at certain points, depends on the business at the time. See if it's stressful and stuff, like, fucking, I need to keep going. But for the most part, I'm pretty good with boundaries. For the most part.
I feel it as well. Like, I felt last year, see, just like a summer holiday, and like a couple of times where I'm like, right, no phone for the weekend, and literally just turn my phone off. I didn't feel like burnt out last year at all, but see, like the year prior, I didn't take a holiday, and I wasn't taking much time away from my phone. See, by the time it got to the end of the year, I took 2 weeks where I didn't speak to a client. I just turned my phone off for 2 weeks, man, but I felt refreshed after it. So I think, you just need a bit of time in between to kind of break it up.
Defos. I actually had a wee think there. I think it's because I build in like lots of enjoyment into my week. Yeah. So every single week, I've always get things that I actually like that I just do for me. And me and Amanda actually had a bit of an argument about it. I was like, look, Ken, you need to go do stuff that you like. You can't just be in the house with the baby all the time. You need to like fuck off, go do something.
Go do stuff. Yeah.
Because it's not selfish, it's the least selfish thing you can do.
Well, no, I've definitely, I think early in my relationship, there was definitely friction, because I was like, I saw success in the thing that I love doing. Like, I could go and train at any time of the day. I could start a fucking podcast in the middle of a Friday afternoon with 2 a day. It's like, it's fun. The most of my day is fun. You would say the same thing.
2 a day.
Oh, 2 a day.
I'd say lost, man.
A lot of my day seems like fun, because it is fun. And I think that if someone maybe has work that they maybe particularly don't enjoy, and then I'm just prancing about all day, getting to train whenever I want, but the thing is, I think that's that's fruits of the labour, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the reason that ultimately why we done this thing, but it doesn't also show the times when you've been on your laptop until 1 a.m, like trying to get everybody's programs
You've
out
had
on
6
time.
churn messages in a row.
Aye. Yeah, exactly. They've not seen those bits where
know.
exactly you get 10 messages in one day. It's like everybody's just decided, you know what, we're going to leave you today, and you're like, fuck's sake.
Fuck you.
But I think that one of the things that's actually probably helped me is, well, one, first of all, was getting a dog. Because then it's like, well, I can go take the dog out, and then it's that, and then also having Hattie, and you'll probably experience that as well. It's like your hand is forced. Like that, I reduced a lot of the hours that I did in-person coaching, because there was certain hours that I didn't really like coaching. I didn't like coaching like at night time. Like I wanted to be home and all that, but I was like, well, money's money. Like let me just coach them at night time. And you probably had that back in the day as well. But it was only until my hand was forced. Like I have a small child now that I have to look for that I took that scary plunge and be like, you know what, I'm going to do a lot less now. And you're either with me or you're not. And then as soon as that happened, it was like, I was actually happier.
Yeah.
So your hand was forced, but it turned out to be a better thing.
You probably get rid of the folk that aren't going to be there long term anyway, and you keep the folk that are actually good.
Yeah, I think service-based businesses, like, I feel like if I sold a product, like if I sold water bottles or something, you can take time off from that. You just need to be happy with maybe sales are going to be a little bit less. But service-based, somebody's consistently paying you on a monthly basis for that service. It's like, well, I need to check in, I need to do these things. I think it's a very hard thing. Equally, I don't think any business is easy to take tons of time off from, but I definitely think service-based businesses where you've like client-facing, it's way fucking harder. Because even business to business, like people that coach coaches or people that sell something to other business owners, you find that a lot of businesses take the same time off, if you know what I mean, as well. Like Christmas and whatever else, but a lot of clients, like that's the busiest time sometimes for PT and in the coaching industry is like the last 2 weeks in December. It's like to get people set up and to get organised, and that's when you want
how much of you still in the kind of coaching side of the business? Have you removed yourself from that?
Nah, I've always tried to like remove myself, and I'm always just like, I'll take your money. See, no, but like I'll
Papa
get,
needs to go to Dubai.
I'll get a lot of like requests to the people that I just want to work with you, and I'm like, that's fine. Like I will say yes quite a lot. I've got 10 clients right now, and that's it. But as of 12-week peak start, like all those 10 clients know that I'm only working with them because they're doing the 12-week peak, and then during the 12-week peak, that's me stopping coaching. So this will be my last, it's my last 10 clients if you're listening to this.
Is it?
So that'll be the last 10 people I plan to work with, because I've been trying to do that for 2 or 3 years, and I keep going, like maybe it's a quieter period, like the 12-week peak's not on, I'm not launching anything else, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just take another 10 clients. It's an easy like 3K or whatever. So like I do that, but I need to stop doing that, because then it distracts me from what I actually need to do to make longer term improvements and drive the business forward. Coaching clients doesn't take a ton of my time. Like I'm about an hour setting somebody up, and I'm about half an hour all in all week. Like that's a check-in, seeing whatever else they're up to across the week and making some changes.
Yeah.
So you're talking like it's not
You've got it that refined.
not a huge amount of time, but equally I think my time, because I done this yesterday. I actually made a list of like things I'm good at and like, things I'm bad at, and what was the list? It was basically like things I'm good at and I like doing. So I was like, right, I need to do more of them. Things I'm good at but I don't like doing, right, I need to learn how to delegate them. Things that I'm bad at but I need to do type thing. So like maybe I'm on accounts or whatever. And the coaching one was one like I don't get the same fulfillment out of it now as I do like building something. Like I love building the projects, I love building landing pages, I love doing the marketing side of stuff. So I enjoy that a lot more now. So I think that would make sense. 10 years, pack it in, just run a business.
Yeah.
I'll see. You can always go back to that. That's what I always think about.
Exactly.
You can
Always go back to
It's not if you're
You'll
that
get bored
far
around
removed.
about Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, you're still in it. Well, quickly on that, we'll wrap up on this one. That was a quick hour, but you mentioned it very quickly there with like coaches that coach coaches. Quite a broad question.
Yeah.
You just laughed there. What is your
coaches?
Yeah. What is your thought on that?
I think if you're still a coach coaching coaches, it's not the best thing. I think you should develop it into a business. Like, so actually, I'll give him a shout out because we're pals now. But Chris Bradley, you know him, upgraded coach. Me and him had like such a weird online beef 6 years ago.
Really?
And it was just because we were both.
I remember
doing
this.
that thing.
Going like we were both chasing online clients, and like locally we were like the only people kind of doing what we were doing, like that we knew of type thing, other than bodybuilders. Really, I would have said. We had this weird beef, and it wasn't until recently that this content just kept coming up on my explore page, and like you hate watch, don't you? So I was like watching it, and I was like, fuck, it's quite good. And I was like, that one's quite good at all. So I actually just reached out to him. I was like, mate, like fucking your content's class. Like I actually like what you're doing. And from his like business growth's been fucking wild. Like he's killing it right now. I think he's done the right thing, because for a while he was coaching clients and coaching coaches. It's two different businesses that both require completely fucking different things. And now he's just balls deep in coaching coaches. I think there's a need for good business mentorships. It's just there's not very many of them. Like I can think of a few. I like the Biceps and Banters boys. I don't know if you follow them.
Yeah, no.
They're sound. I met them a few times. They're class guys. And to be honest, I'd actually recommend probably Chris now, which is wild. Like I wouldn't ask me that 2 years ago when I said that. But equally, like I think with all these things, I know people that have had amazing experiences and people that have had terrible experiences with all these different kind of people. I think it just depends on. Even with me signing up to stuff, like going back to what we were speaking about at the start, maybe I wasn't in the right headspace. Maybe I wasn't getting the most from it. Like sometimes you need to be at a different place in your life to gain something from something. I've said this before, and I've said this about like talking about like my own program and stuff like that. And more often than not, what I found is that quite a lot of times it's not the program's fault, it's your fault. So like there's nothing necessarily wrong with the program that's there, it's you. So whether that be that you didn't adhere to it, it wasn't the right time for you, or you just maybe didn't gel with that person. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the thing's bad. It's maybe that you're just bad at that time. But is it something that have you ever considered? Me and Ryan done it. The first 12-week peak, we were like, oh, let's try and... The first 12-week peak, because we had 60 people doing the 60 coaches doing it, we were like, why don't we have an order bump? And it was like an extra 250 quid and we'll coach you how to be a better coach. I fucking hated it. Did you? I hate it. I've not got the patience. Like, and I think I'm quite cynical still with the coaching industry in the sense of like there's so many people that I don't think should be in it. If you know what I mean? 100%. So I struggle to then help them because I'm like, I think you're going to be gone in 6 months anyway. And I think I've got enough experience to have I'm not the all-seeing eye, but to be like, I know that they're going to make it. And that's why I like MTN, because now I can handpick people for my own company and be like, you're going to make it because I'm going to help you, rather than like, I'm just going to broadly help 50 people and maybe 2 of them will be quite good at some point. Because it's frustrating. It's like dealing with a client that doesn't want to be there, or that you know is just fucking... They've got no chance. Like, it's very difficult. Equally, I think that there needs to be a part of me that's like, no, you need to develop yourself better to help these people. Like, stop being so impatient. But yeah, I have that cynical side of like, I don't think they're going to be here. I don't want to waste my time with them. Which sounds terrible, but I'm just going to put it out there.
Okay. It's almost like wasted time, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree.
And to wrap up, we always ask the same question with every guest. Every guest. Is there a lesson that you've learned in life?
You got text me this?
That you could, that is better off the cuff, that you could share, or like you're alright, sharing something you've learned.
Whatever. Do you know what? One of the biggest things that I've learned is that the thoughts that you have right now and your opinions and things will likely change. I think I was so opinionated when I was younger, and I was so like, this is the way to do it. And now I'm like, why did I think like that? Or why did I even think that thing? So I think a good thing to just be aware of is like being open-minded with the stuff that you know right now might not be the stuff that you continue to know. Oh, that was a good one. Like that.
Bars.
There we go. Class.
We did actually text him that question before.
He was prepped. He was putting notes here.
There we go. No, well, thank you for coming down. Thanks for taking the time. Do the usual things. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
All the rest. Did you like that one? I share it with your mom, all the rest of it.
Have you get into plug?
Oh, yeah, the plug.
Just follow MTN Coaching, because if you follow that, I'm just going to shove everything else down your neck when you're there. So MTN Coaching.
Amazing.
Love it.
Thanks. Cheers. Ciao.